The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show that is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. There is a 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. 15% at the minute on probate, wills, and can you remember, Rob?
Conveyancing.
Well done. You have been paying attention. That is on until the end of January 2023. 15% discount on that. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Yeah, Normanton's off in Mallorca, swanning off at this crucial time of the season. Climax of the World Cup, Leeds United restarting. So Rob's in Michael's chair, which is very, very disturbing because normally you sit in Moscow's chair, but Moscow's in Moscow's chair.
It's very high up, this chair.
Yeah.
It's weird. I feel
It might be his booster cushion. Something like that. Moscow, what's that shirt you're wearing today, by the way? Video version, you will see this. It's light blue. It's got dark sleeves.
Yes.
Some Spanish language on it. Cordoba, is that a giveaway?
Yes. I mean, that's the place. It's Club Atlético Belgrano from de Cordoba, where...
De Cordoba Reed?
Who played for them? Rob.
Luciano Becchio.
There we go. So in between a couple of his spells at Rotherham United, Luciano Becchio went back to Argentina, played for Belgrano. I think he did 3 games, and a listener named Paul found this in the street. It is probably...
Found it in the street?
Well, for sale in the street. It's not the most... it's snide, basically.
Right. Is it a DH gate style?
Before that was even invented, I think.
Right.
So, but yeah, very happy with it. And I thought, in honour of the GOAT 10...
Becchio.
Yes.
That's the joke.
Finally being hailed as the all-timer that he is, I'd pop on a Cordoba Belgrano. Where is it? Atletico, that's backwards. It's Atletico Belgrano Cordoba shirt.
Settled the debate, hasn't it, of who's the GOAT, Ronaldo or Becchio?
Yeah.
Finally did it. Finally got our answer.
We do. There is a beautiful photo on Luciano's Instagram stories. I wasn't sure. Rob thinks it is him. I was half asleep when I looked at it. There's a video of a man going crazy in front of a television that seems to be Luciano Becchio celebrating the victory, and then just a photo in front of a very glitzy kind of like festive backdrop with his arms outstretched like Jesus and Campeones written across. So
Feliz Navidad.
So it really is. It's a morning where Becchio, Bielsa, the memory of Alex Sabella, and Fede Bassoni all give us reasons.
I'm glad you remembered the important one.
All give us reasons to share in the joy that was spreading out from Salt Bay to the world.
Yes, indeed. Fede Bassoni was one of the candidates in our World Butter Cup that we did over on the Extra Ball for members. We've been running a tournament alongside the FIFA one. I think less dubious, probably, than the FIFA one.
Less corrupt?
Yep, definitely.
Or equally?
On a par.
Okay.
But Fede Bassoni was in that. Didn't make the final, but the final was played yesterday at the same time. It's all people are talking about. I won't spoil the surprise of who is competing, who is winning, who won. It's all very exciting. It's over on the Extra Ball.
And that's available for members?
It is indeed, yes.
What's the easiest way to get a membership in time for Christmas?
It's to look on the website. I mean, you can gift one. Did you know that?
Yes, I did, because it took me bloody ages to get it working.
You put the gift cards on there, but there are gift. Yeah, so if you're useless at Christmas, as many of us can be, have a look on the website. There are gift cards on there. Why not gift a sub for somebody in your life that you love, and they can watch the Butter Cup.
Is that acceptable for us to give as presents? Because we're just doing a Secret Santa with my family this year, but I think giving a TSB sub might give it away slightly.
Yeah, they get to experience more of their favourite nephew.
Should we just dock that from your wages, Rob? Or
no. They can pay for it actually now, I think.
Excellent. And by the way, just on Christmas as well, we are in the countdown to Christmas, just 6 days to go now. And we've done a new show, monthly thing that we're doing with Andy's Man Club as well. You remember we raised a bunch of money for them in the summer when we did the charity walk, over £60,000. Great bunch of lads and lasses there. They do great work. We've done a show, first monthly show, about Christmas and some of the hurdles that you can come up against, shall we say, in the run-up to Christmas. Because it's not always plain sailing. Have a look for that in your podcast feed and your video feed as well. And speaking of video feeds, lads, something very exciting. Obviously, this show very much known for being the voice of Gen Z, I think the kids call it, don't they? I mean, Rob, you're in your 20s still. Your hope hasn't been extinguished. You've got that fire in your belly still. You know what it's like to be a young person. What do you want to see on this show more than anything?
You lads really pin a lot on me being in my 20s. I mean, I'm really hanging on to it, to be fair. But I don't know. Have you got maybe some presents we could open or something?
Well, how did you guess? Almost. See this? Do you see what this is?
It's a brown box.
It is a brown box. I have the only modification I've made to that brown box is to cover the label over it so nobody sees any address details of who received this package. However, the eagle-eyed among you, if you're watching on the video, will recognise this as the Leeds United members pack that has been sent out for this year. We're going to do an unboxing video. You know how popular they are with the kids these days. So you can find us, by the way, if you are just listening to this, Grandad, we are on the website https://www.youtube, that's youtube.com. Put that into your internet browser, press enter, and it'll take you there, and look for us on there, and you will see us doing an unboxing video. Very popular on the website youtube.com. So we'll do it. So we'll build some suspense first, talk about the World Cup first, and we'll get around to doing the unboxing in a bit, so we can just sit there building suspense all this time. Is that exciting for you? You looking forward to that?
Maybe I'll be excited when it happens.
We'll see what's in the Leeds United members.
Yeah,
pack.
that's it. It's I'm more suspended than excited.
Right. Yellow card, suspension incoming. Right, let's talk about the World Cup then. Close this one out. World Cup diary, final one. Argentina won it. They beat France. What a final that turned out to be. It was great, wasn't it? What entertainment that was.
It's been really good, hasn't it? The whole thing. It was. There was a tweet at full time which I read, just saying, "Consider me sports washed," and I did. There was sort of a nagging feeling of, "Oh God, yeah, I've really enjoyed this football." But the final was mad, and it was, the shootout of Messi and Mbappe was incredible. Yeah.
It was the final, I guess, that Qatar wanted, because two of its paid-for stars were featuring in it. But from a purely football perspective, and I think we can probably, to a degree, separate the two out, because we're here to talk about football. We've done the kind of politics side of it. It's fairly self-evident what the problem with it is, and you saw it as a final gesture, didn't you, when Messi was made to put the sort of ceremonial robe on, and you thought, what's that got to do with anything other than trying to frame it all around Qatar one final time? But as a football spectacle, it was very Hollywood, wasn't it? It was absolutely brilliant.
And for it all to come down to an Aston Villa goalkeeper sort of dancing, it was not what I expected, but it was hilarious.
You sat there thinking, what an arsehole, but well done. There's a certain amount of respect for the shit house when you threw the ball away.
That was amazing towards a young player playing in a World Cup final, just to completely be an absolute wanker to him. Was incredible.
And he took a yellow card for it as well, didn't he, afterwards? Which is,
Yeah, I think he managed to avoid the yellow for the ball throwing, and then just because he was persisted in being a pest, got a yellow card just for, I think it was the referee's sort of last straw. It's a funny one, Martinez, because I'm still a bit torn on, because I wanted us to sign him when he was going to Aston Villa. I'm not sure how concrete the links were, but it was definitely...
well, he went for £20 million, Moscow, so probably not.
Well, yeah, it felt like a little bit more than the usual just it's been made up business. It felt like there was a decent stake, but we've got Meslier, but I keep looking at Martinez just because maybe the age difference, that we could have probably had him, and then what would Meslier do? Probably just like get better at a similar rate. But anyway, what might have been. But yes, he was a lot of fun. I love all that nonsense. It is probably, well, it was like the Argentina-Netherlands penalties when everybody was outraged about the way Argentina celebrated towards them, and then realised that the Netherlands players had been winding them all up, and then actually it's all fine.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's not just fine, it's great.
It's and I think it's that it mattered. That's what sort of the final and probably the competition as a whole brought to bear to a degree, is how much it actually matters to a lot of the players in ways that you think the Champions League does, and maybe the Premier League. I don't know how many times Manchester City players have won it over and over, and how many La Liga titles Messi's got. But then you saw just how much all the players in the knockout rounds onwards in particular were desperate to win the bloody thing. And Giroud going off, completely, even though he's already got a World Cup winners medal, but just being distraught to be dragged off before half-time. And it's, in one sense, it kind of removes some of the money from it down to just, it's about trying to win the best thing you can possibly win.
Sporting achievement.
But then that's also why it is so valuable, and why people do exchange so many big brown envelopes in order to take it to the places where they want it to be taken to and do the things that they want to do. So it's all, those things will always be tied up together. But just a mad few weeks of players probably being undercoached as well. That's what some of the madness of the final is, kind of without the build-up from a European season point of view, without the training camps for everybody to prepare really boring tactical plans. It was very much just go and try and get the ball to our best player and see if they'll score more goals than the other team, and then hope our goalkeeper's really good. And like the minute at the end of extra time, there's nothing tactical going on there. There's nobody can come and say that, a coach in midweek analysing the half space had anything to do with Juan Martinez saving at one end and then Juan Martinez fully dubering a header at the other end. It's it just came down to just some players kicking a ball around.
It was that it was beautiful chaos, wasn't it? That final last minute or two of extra time.
Even the final, probably the last hour of the game, if you take it from, how long did it last after the 70th minute? It felt like an hour. But everything from France getting the penalty and realising that they actually were not just beaten and they weren't just going to stumble around flu-ridden for 90 whole minutes, everything from that point onwards just felt completely off script. Even when Messi scored the 3-2 goal and they were celebrating as if they'd won and started...
taking people off, weren't they?
Yeah, and time wasting in the corner didn't feel done to me somehow. I didn't expect the goal that was eventually scored the way it was all to come, but I just had a feeling that they'd maybe gone a bit too early.
Scaloni, the coach, the Argentine coach, did you see that clip of him? I think he crouches down, touches the turf, and then crosses himself, stands up, and then bursts into tears. And it's not just tears; it's like child's tears, uncontrollable tears, beyond those that you can ever hold back.
It was like that with the defender who scored the winning penalty, where when he ran off celebrating, I thought, God, he's keeping it together really well considering he's just done that. But then he covered his face and he was just sobbing uncontrollably.
Yeah, because I thought, God, that's a very calm reaction, because normally you'd belt off to the corner, embracing the fans, but he just kind of trotted off and slowed down, didn't he? And then the shirt went over his face, and then you just saw that, he's shaking when he was crying.
It has been kind of a reminder of why international football should be fun, I think, but often so isn't. Like the things you've been saying about the teams kind of being undercoached and it being a bit of a throwback almost in this really weirdly modern setting. But even just having like Morocco in the semi-finals and Argentina winning it, it's all felt a bit Eurocentric in more recent tournaments, and it went away from that, which I think was a lot more fun because of that. Which
is a representation, I guess, of where the money is concentrated around world football, isn't it? It's almost defaulted to the mean, because European football has so much money. The Premier League has so much money in it. All the players are playing in the Premier League or Germany or Spain or whatever. So it was always going to kind of coalesce around almost.
And that's Europe, and then when you see it in Nations League games, and it's just so boring. It just all feels so cold. Whereas this, like Morocco, was just brilliant and really enjoyable the whole time.
Yeah, and it's shone a bit of a light on the Premier League, hasn't it? Because I can't really say I'm particularly looking forward to it coming back all that much. I'm desperate to see Leeds again, but I can't ignore the fact that Man City is the first game. But it also made me think about how many defensive teams there are in the Premier League, and how we've seen a real counterpoint to that in the World Cup. Like you say, it's been almost a bit free form, a bit chaotic, lots of fun going on, and well refereed as well. I just want to add that as a final point, is where they've not stood for any shit from the players. They've not tried to be mates with the players. Refereeing the final, I thought it was great.
Should remember that part of Morocco's fun was defending so brilliantly. Like they were quite a stern team until it was France, wasn't it? The last game where they went behind, and suddenly they're like, they can attack as well. They're actually really good at that too. And then, it's funny. There is still the Premier League dominance there when you look at the Argentina team, and it is Aston Villa's goalkeeper of all people, and then probably a big candidate for player of the match is a Brighton midfielder, and so to sort of fiddle the pecking order on the world stage to the point that Brighton and Hove Albion are supplying players for the world champions does say something about the way that the Premier League has hoovered up so much of world football in it doesn't make sense for a lower mid-table Premier League team to be putting players into that position. But Yeah, he looks good. I don't remember him being that good for Brighton.
No.
He's looked decent this season, but it's never been. He's always just been the guy with the funny name that plays for Brighton. That's really difficult to spell because your spell check will always try to make it McAllister.
Yeah. As in Gary.
Yeah, after years of training from Gary, but then separating out into McAllister is a difficult vibe. But
I mean, we had
there he is.
Was it Jermaine Genius on one? I mean, it was proper Sophie's Choice stuff, wasn't it, on the commentaries as well? Because you had on the one channel Jermaine Genius on co-commentary droning on, and then on the other side Sam Matterface doing the commentary. It's like, but with Ali McCoist, so it's like, pick your least favourite one or your most favourite one, whichever you wanted to do. But one of them, I think it was Jermaine Genius, was going about, you're going to expect some of the really big clubs to be taking a look at him now, and I just thought, just shut up with that. Can't we just enjoy the tournament for what it is now, just for today?
Well, there's a bit of a relief that there weren't many Leeds players got further on, and that Tyler Adams his star was definitely ascending. But I think USA getting knocked out when they did for both him and Brendan Aronson, if he'd ended up being used more, it was probably good for us that it just stopped then, because it just got a little bit of hubbub. But not to the point where now I'm sure if you're a Brighton supporter, on the one hand, isn't it fantastic McAllister won the World Cup? On the other hand, you won't be able to look at news now again for months because it will just be where will McAllister end up? And the sad thing is, you know where it'll end up. Scum will buy him.
Or Chelsea.
No, Scum.
How do you think?
And it'll be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I suppose they might need to get through the other side of their takeover. But it just has a real he would be better at Brighton. Like, he could maybe, who knows, maybe Brighton are going to win the Premier League. I always say if they just sign a striker, they'll be fine. But then he's just got that real feeling of ending up at Scum and having a full Di Maria time of it, and then maybe getting away and winning the World Cup again.
I was going to say, all that will happen is they will break him. So it's kind of fine. Like, it doesn't really matter when they sign good players now.
On a little Scum tangent, it's hard to not be seduced. I mean, you read all the GOAT arguments and all the Messi versus Ronaldo stuff online, and I just think, that's not for me. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to stay well out of that. However, it's hard not to, gravitate towards one over the other. And obviously, we're all naturally going to gravitate towards Messi because he's not Ronaldo, because he's not played for them, because he doesn't strike me as a malignant narcissist. And it was nice, I think, to see that story arc, particularly from a Messi point of view, complete. And when you see what's happened to Ronaldo on the other side of this, who's gone off down the tunnel crying, leaving his teammates out on the pitch, has essentially torched his career in England now with that Piers Morgan interview where he's slagged off the club and all that. Why are they not catering to me anymore? Poor me. I refuse to accept that I'm getting old.
I think at the last 10 minutes of the game, I was desperate for a camera on Cristiano Ronaldo, wherever he was watching it from, just to see his face. But then I was also, particularly when Messi scored to make it 3-2, I was just desperate for him to headbutt someone and get sent off and just retire on the spot. Like, he's done it, hasn't he? Like, you don't want to say he should retire because he's brilliant and you want to see more of him, but you do just think, if he retired now, like, it's kind of untouchable as a career, isn't it?
Have you ever seen him play in the flesh?
No, I don't think
I have. I've went to Barcelona a few times and seen him play for him, and he does have that thing where you just go, wow, that it is otherworldly stuff. Like, you watch, when you look at like Bielsa's Leeds, for example, which had a lot of players that he kind of dragged up to an unknown level, didn't he? He made them brilliant. You think your system has created something amazing there, but with Messi, it's just a different stratosphere where he has just those God-given talents and vision to do stuff that nobody could coach. It's phenomenal watching him.
And it's where the probably him and Ronaldo's comparison. I think we were talking about this a bit last week, the way Ronaldo's tried to make everything about him, whereas Argentina have kind of succeeded in this tournament by realising that they should make everything about Messi because it will work for the team, whereas Ronaldo is always about, I want the stats, I want the goals, I should be the figurehead, I should be the one lifting the trophy at the end. Somehow, like, Argentina have had a complicated time with Messi about whether they believe in him as an Argentinian even, and whether he is the player to win, whether he cares about winning trophies for them. And what it seems to have been with him through the South American Championship and then this one, the World Cup, was just to get everybody to chill out for 6 weeks and just be like, let's all just have a nice time and do whatever we have to do to make sure Messi plays really well, because then we'll all win. And then somehow, maybe it is a difference of personality. Messi manages to negotiate that status without becoming Ronaldo, of being, I am the centre point of this entire team, and you all should work to help me because it will help. It's that last part, is because it will help you.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's never seemed to be able to get past that thing of like, you should all help me, the end.
Yeah.
Whereas the loop was finally complete with this Argentina team, and even having Sergio Aguero around.
Full John Terry.
Well, I mean,
but you get a sense he's part of it, don't you? That's the thing.
Exactly. And also the only reason he's not part of it was something completely out of his control, that he had his move to Barcelona, where I think the whole target was him and Messi wanted to play together at Barcelona, and then Messi ends up in Paris and he ends up retired through
his heart arrhythmia he's got, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, there's nothing really he could do about that. Whereas, it was was John Terry suspended for that final? Yeah, so that was entirely in John Terry's keeping. But just having somebody like that around that they obviously were just happy to have there just made everything. And to when you were talking about the coach before, Lionel Scaloni, you should find the director's cut of that, because it's almost 2 minutes of footage from the penalty being scored, and there's a camera just on him.
Oh, wow.
So when he does break, he's been holding it together for about 90 seconds, where there's some handshakes, then he goes and sits in the dugouts and kind of he doesn't look like he knows what to do with himself, and he's sort of whispering like, keep calm, don't break. And then he finally, I think it's when Paredes, one of the players, comes running towards him, he's the first player to come to him. And you're right, it just goes. So it's quite exceptional to watch the whole build up of how well he does, first of all, and then I think that's I'm just rabbiting, but that last penalty as well. It's the player whose name, he scored the winning goal in the World Cup final. I still can't remember his name, but he kind of rolled it in as well, like Messi had done for the first one. And there's something about the way Messi sets a tone in the way that other players think, right, we'll do that, that'll work. Whereas again, Ronaldo never seems to be able to do anything in a way that anybody else would want to replicate.
Well, it's about earning the respect of your teammates, isn't it? And you get the sense that with Messi, he's almost like he's at the centre of the web, kind of pulling the strings, if you like, whereas Ronaldo wants to be at the apex of everything and everybody else is behind him. It's not a collaborative effort. It's all about directing everything towards him. And like you say, Messi is there in that similar sort of role for Argentina, but you don't get the sense he's as unbecoming as Ronaldo, and Ronaldo just wants it all to be like channeled to him, so he gets the glory at the end of it. Whereas Messi does tend to get the glory with a lot of goals, but equally he'll just pop a pass off or set one up or get the assist or whatever.
Good, isn't he?
He is. He's been a good player to watch as well. That was the World Cup. To matters at hand, which is Leeds United. And should we start the exciting unboxing video now?
It's just opening a box, isn't it?
But
you say unboxing.
Rob, you're under 30. You love this shit, don't you? You?
I'm going to...
When you watch me, opening boxes, is it Beanie Babies that everyone's into now?
Turn that red button blue, or whatever they say on YouTube. What is it?
Sounds like a threat.
Well, the only prep work I have done is to unseal the tape here, because I wanted to keep scissors out of the studio because they're dangerous. Obviously, with having young people around, we need to be aware there. So here is the box.
Right, so that's it, is it? So, we opened it, so that's it. We done?
We could examine the items inside. Let's do some ASMR style stuff. This is me scrunching some.
Well,
what's that stuff called? Plastic?
Yes.
Well, they appear to be socks. Who wants to unbox the socks?
We got socks.
They're not in a box.
Who wants to unpackage the socks?
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, Moscow. There you go. Rob, if there's anything for you, we can maybe.
Is that it?
I'll tell you what. You have that. That appears to be the scarf. The box, because you've got to talk about the box as well, haven't you? This is what they do in the unboxing videos. It's supposed to be a sturdy box. It's got the My Leeds logo, adult membership text inside. Mm-hmm. It's got all the usual flaps, robust. It's been well packaged.
I feel like James Milner on that Christmas unboxing video he does, which it's a plain navy scarf. Just what I wanted.
And I think the box with all the items in weighed about 374 grams or something like that. I say that because it said it on the label. But other than that, nice box. Well done.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know about the socks?
Talk me through the socks there, Moscow.
Right, there's two of them.
Yep. Are they labelled L and R or
Eleanor?
No, L and R.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, One of them has a label. If you want to know about the label, it says that they're 97% polyester, 3% elastane. Then I think you're supposed to wash them at 30 degrees. Don't iron them. Made in China. Keep away.
Does anybody ever iron socks?
Not with a warning like that. Keep away from fire and naked flame. So, but I think the thing is, this is
press here.
Yeah, that's the big thing. So they're yellow and blue. They've got these weird sticky bits at the bottom.
They're for grips, Moscow. They're grips.
But to grip inside your shoe.
No, it's for the house socks, I think, aren't they? Because you're not going to go out wearing those.
I suppose so. They're supposed to be in the shape of. Oh, right, they're studs. Right, it's to represent the whole design is of a football boot. It makes sense now, because there's your laces. Look.
Ah, yes.
And then these are your studs. And then it says LUFC on the yellow bit, and then
there's
around the cuff.
There's a reminder for your car, isn't there? The MOT.
MOT, and then it says press here, and I wonder what's going to happen when I do press it. Should I press it?
I think I'll put. Yeah, it's not just an unboxing.
We said it was all about suspense, and yeah, we did the boxing bit quite quick, the unboxing bit. So I don't know where we go from, because this isn't a box; it's a sock. Anyway.
Remember, not more than a few seconds of that, because we'll end up getting marked down by the algorithm. There we go.
Take the batteries out.
So I'll talk over it so that it can't listen and hear the song.
It's finished. So that's what it does.
It's playing marching on together. That's great.
Yep. Only on one sock.
Oh,
the
right.
other one.
So can you only wash one? So if you wash them, is it not going to kill the little?
It might be
detachable or whatever.
It might be waterproof. You never know. But I think the biggest thing is you have to live the rest of your life with one silent leg, and nobody wanted that, did they, for Christmas? So that's good. And there's also once you take the sticker off, trying to remember which one has got the little voice machine in it. Voice machine makes it sound like it's
it's AI.
Yes.
Gone wild. It's become self-aware.
Poison your mother and father. So that's
Is that the socks?
So those are the socks, and then the plastic bag that they came in.
That'll end up floating in the ocean at some point.
Yes, that's going to strangle a dolphin.
Rob, do you want to talk us through what item you've got? Who knows what it could be?
I believe this might be a scarf. And
describe its texture. This is theatre of the mind, isn't it?
It is actually quite nice. Have a feel. Very soft.
That does feel like mohair.
Very, very plain.
Is mohair good or bad? When Moscow's taking his headphones off, he's walking around.
I'll be back.
Oh, he's gone.
I know what I'm.
I know what he's going to do. Yeah, so do I.
Got a little sewn on Leeds badge. It says my Leeds, so you remember.
Yep.
Show that off. But if Moscow's getting what I think he's going to get,
it's one of our scarves, isn't he?
Which is, I can't find them. But
in the box on top of the shelf, probably Moscow. This is great, isn't it?
I can confirm that on Friday at the game, I was wearing a square ball scarf. And it's a lot thicker, keeps you a lot warmer, and is a lot prettier.
So this is 30% viscose and 70% polyester. They recommend washing it on a cool wash. You can iron this. That's exciting. But on a cool iron. Again, keep away from fire and naked flame. And wash at 30. Do not bleach. There we go.
It's quite boring though, isn't it? Plain navy.
Does it even have any LUFC stuff on it?
It's got a little Leeds badge in the corner.
It's got my Leeds badge in the corner, yeah.
This is a scarf.
There we go.
This is a scarf. So again, this is not very good for the audio people, but it's a square ball scarf. So best thing to do if you're wondering, if you can't see this and you want to know what it is, go to thesquareball.net and then find our merch section. And there's loads of pictures of this scarf there. And also like a button where you can buy one. And I think that would be the best way of like finding out exactly what these look like close up.
Yeah.
Because we'll put them in the post for you in exchange for money. And then you can experience it for yourself. And it's, what did you say that one's made of?
Oh, viscose and asbestos. No, let me double check.
Asbestos. I'll take that. This one is...
it's 30% viscose, 70% polyester.
Rubbish. This is 80% acrylic and 20% lycra. So that's a much better combination. It's reversible as well. So that's just plain navy, isn't it? Whereas this is blue on one side and it says the square ball in yellow, and yellow on the other side it says the square ball in blue. Our logo is rendered. It's knitted, in fact. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? And then the
tassels.
The tassels at the end are white, blue and yellow and look beautiful, really. I really like our scarves. It's not even just trying to do the hard sell. It's a damn nice scarf.
And I mean, that Leeds scarf, the members one, technically cost about 70 quid. Whereas ours don't cost 70 quid.
I don't know what they cost.
Should we do something else other than shamelessly whoring off our scarves?
Relatively well priced.
Should we talk about Real Sociedad, the game there? Ellen Road on Friday. It's gone positively tropical around Leeds today. It's going to hit highs of about 15 just as we head towards Christmas. And it was -2 at kickoff at Ellen Road on Friday. How was it? You were there, Rob.
Cold. Pretty... I was insufferable, quite frankly. I was like a toddler being taken to his first Leeds game, where constantly just asking my mates, can we go home yet? Can we go home yet?
Were they giving you bags of sweets to shut you up?
Sadly not. I'd have preferred that. But yeah, I think before we'd actually met in the pub...
Sorry, Moscow's just putting the Leeds socks on his hands, which is one of the most disturbing things I've seen. It looks like some sort of kink video or whatever now.
Just ready to keep my hands warm for Christmas.
Anyway, good God, awful manacles. Sorry, Rob, you were saying.
So yeah, before we'd even met at the pub, I'd texted a friend saying we could just stay in here, and then oh God, this is terrifying.
Come on, get professionalised. Come on.
And then yeah, as we were walking to the ground, I was saying, it's still not too late. We could turn back. And it got to half time, and I was like, can we go? But no, it was all right.
Was it nice to be back?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You're not selling it to anyone.
No, well, I don't know. What did you make of it, Moscow? It was. I thought it was a game where sort of not a lot happened. There was a very good goal, and then nothing really happened. But I was just stood there moaning, so I might have just ruined it for myself and everyone else.
I didn't go to this, I should say. I was otherwise occupied on Friday, but did manage to catch a good proportion of the second half on Real Sociedad's YouTube channel, thanks to a VPN and a location in Spain.
Yeah, we didn't seem to have much of the ball in the second half, and I was wondering if, why did we decide to play Real Sociedad? Perhaps the Diego Llorente connection, but there was an element of it.
Whoever wins gets to keep him.
Well, that's us, so that was easy. He didn't have to move house. But because they seemed to have the ball all the time in the second half, and they had David Silva in their team. So I was wondering, and they, after we talked up Sorloth in the preview, we didn't even play, but I wondered if we were expecting them to be, or treating them a little bit like a shadow Manchester City, of like they'll just have loads of possession and we will have to like defend and try not to concede from any set pieces, which doesn't seem to be. We're still, we're not bothering with that.
That happened again, didn't it?
But as long as that's the only thing we're conceding from. But for a lot of the time in the second half, so we're in our fancy new 4-3-3 formation, but just not having the ball whatsoever. And then Sociedad weren't very good. So even when they had the ball,
they're
didn't
third
really...
in La Liga, Moscow.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I meant to look up to what extent that was their first team or not, because they didn't seem like a great bunch of players, particularly at the back where they started trying to pass around. They were just giving us the ball, which I don't know if that's maybe a John Stones and the other players who Manchester City have.
Ruben Diaz?
Thing. Yeah, all of those. So that was the thing. But
Aymeric Laporte?
Strikes goal. What a goal.
Yes.
That was good to see. So I was glad I was there for that.
He put his foot through it.
I had a perfect view of that from the other end of the pitch. We were sort of right behind it. And yeah, it absolutely arrowed into the corner, and I did sort of sit back and think, oh, what a waste of a good goal. Why
did you save that for Man City, Pascal?
Do it in a week's time or whatever. But no, it was a very good goal. And he did say after the game, I keep getting into that position and nobody passes to me, so I had to show I could do something.
Oh, bless him.
Well, you're not going to do that every time, but I hope he tries.
It was a very sort of a goal that we try to score. You do quite often see our fullbacks up there. You can remember it. I'm now remembering the very first game with Marsh where Junior Firpo had big chances in Leicester's penalty area, and there's always hanging around. So it's good to see it pay off.
I can't get past you gesticulating with socks on your arms. They're like the least sexy mittens on earth.
They'll be all good. Well, that's not saying much for the membership pack if they're not versatile enough. I need to get the studs on the palms. So and then
for better grip,
the second half goal, the winner. That was a good goal as well, breaking Nonto, who wasn't expecting to play because it was Harrison felt some tightness in the warm-up. So Nonto played and was good. He's always good. But then his pass to Gelhardt, and then Gelhardt made a good decision of playing it forward to Rodrigo, got a bit lucky with the defender. Defender got there first. But this is what I mean about Sociedad not really being very good. They did a great job of cutting out a dangerous pass towards their penalty area, and then just sort of left the ball.
Didn't deal with it at all.
No, Rodrigo could just run past him and
took it really well, we should say.
Yeah, I mean, compared to, I felt mean, and then I realised I had to correct myself because Struijk's goal raised the bar of like what hitting the back of the net should be like in that match. And then when Rodrigo, it's kind of like he did exactly the right thing of working out which way the goalkeeper's going to go and rolling it to the other side. But you wanted it smashed into the top corner. It's a friendly, just but put your laces through it, like.
Yeah.
But he didn't. But it was good that he did the right things. So sometimes you just got to score rather than make it too spectacular.
I think you're doing a bit of a disservice there. It was
absolutely. That's why I said I realised I was being. Well, I was like, oh, why didn't he stick it in the top corner? Why didn't he flick it up in the air and do a what do you call it, scorpion kick? But it was a great finish. Just a bit too. I think you want a bit more from a friendly, don't you? You want to see something really cool. But I saw it with. Well, yeah, of course, because you want the Harlem Globetrotters or something. That's where some of these games go a bit wrong, where people say, oh, well, remember it's just a training exercise and it's about fitness and it's about them getting minutes and a bit of practice. It's like, well, why am I watching it then? So once I am involved as a spectator, I want entertainment. I want Mbappe doing a flying volley at the back post. I want Pascal Struijk arrowing a shot. So I got that, and then so I just had some expectations.
Luke Ayling provided some entertainment right at the end when he chased after a man who'd done a really bad tackle on him. And this was like the last minute of stoppage time. And he sort of ran after him while the referee was trying to stop it, just shouted in his face for a bit.
Because did he not actually push past the referee?
Yeah, gave him his 2 hands in the chest. He's like, right, you've booked him. I'm going to go and deal with this now.
Now it's time for real justice.
You could tell from the free kick he was lining up for that. And he started off stood next to the guy who tackled him, didn't he? And he sort of gave himself 5 yards almost to have a run at him. And then Sociedad player came to sort of shield him almost. But our photographer Lee Brown has got a great photo of that moment, and Luke Ayling just sort of laughing at the guy. And the guy who he'd sort of had this argument with, as soon as the full-time whistle went, he just walked straight down the tunnel. He couldn't be asked chatting to anyone, which is nice.
Yeah. And Monaco on Wednesday the 21st. Going to that one?
No.
Oh, okay.
That seems to be a really low-key game for some reason. I don't know if it's just a build-up to Christmas, but certainly at full-time against Sociedad, what's his face who does the pitch announcements now?
Lee.
Yes.
Nicholson.
He was wishing everybody a happy Christmas on the kind of like, don't forget, next Wednesday at Elland Road, Monaco are going to be here, but if we don't see you for that, happy Christmas. Thanks for everything, but like, come.
Please do come.
Please come.
There was it's been weird because they announced them separately. They announced Monaco later, didn't they? So I think
they announced it by mistake.
Well, yeah. But that was after they'd already announced Sociedad.
Classic Leeds.
People got tickets for that.
Announcing a fixture by mistake. Very Leeds.
So yeah, I don't know if people just already got Sociedad tickets and then thought, well, we were already doing one friendly.
Both. But,
well, I think they could make it more entertaining by getting Tony Yeboah in as a guest.
Got a problem because my laptop's gone on the screensaver and it wants me to touch ID to get it in, so I have to take the sock off. There we go. So there's something that these socks won't do for you. You won't be able to operate technology.
Touch ID. Yeah.
Touch
That's a
screens.
shame. What a shame.
Sorry, you were saying?
I was saying, bring Tony Yeboah back.
Jean-Kevin Augustin. He's a Monaco.
That's true. Yeah, he's a Monaco alumni, isn't he? Yeah. In fact, we helped to cancel his loan to Monaco in order to bring him to Leeds.
And his career's gone from strength to strength since, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, he's back in the French league, isn't he? And that's the exciting, important bit.
Yeah. Well, no, he's in Switzerland.
Is he now in Switzerland? He's gone. Of course, he's gone to Basel, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had his little turn at Nantes. And now he's at Basel. But yeah, Yeboah, that was a really good Monaco team that Yeboah scored his hat-trick against.
Yeah.
And it was a really amazing hat-trick.
Which is on YouTube. It's brilliant. Is it Brynlaw doing the comms on that?
I think it could be John Helm.
Is it John Helm? Either way.
Yeah.
It was dead good. Brynlaw might have been there. Who knows?
I'm sure Brynlaw would have been there for Radio Leeds, but I think the TV commentary, I think it's John Helm.
Either way, what a hat-trick. Worth looking up. And as well, it's because it's in the blue and green stripy kit as well. It's one of the first occasions we wore it, wasn't it, that?
I think so.
And we looked amazing in it. And Tony Yeboah, if you were not lucky enough to see Tony Yeboah in the flesh, just go watch that.
I saw him in the flesh at Lucas Radaby's testimonial.
Different kind of flesh, more of it at that time. Although we did say when we were recording the Buttercup, because Tony Yeboah did feature in that if you look at pictures of him now, he's really trimmed down. Because there was a picture of him last year holding one of the Europa League trophy? I'm going to say that Frankfurt won. Okay. And he's holding that trophy and he looks pretty buff. He's looking good as Tony. He's looking well for it. which I'm pleased about as well.
Yeah, the way he fell over that ball at Radaby's testimonial, he looked electric.
Well, one of the questions in the World Butter Cup was who's the better player now when he came up against somebody I think who is still playing. I don't know if it was Peltier or something like that. And I wanted to make an argument for Yeboah, but Phil and Michael weren't having it. But it'd be nice to see Tony Yeboah again. It'd be nice to beat Monaco again. And it'd be nice to go into Christmas with another win under our belts. Because, I mean, imagine that if we beat Monaco, then we'll have had a 100% winning record in re-season. I'm calling it re-season, by the way. Not pre-season, re-season.
I like re-season. The other thing I took from the Sociedad game that might be relevant, post-Elche, pre-Monaco, I thought Match's Click played very, very well. And I sort of all the talk of him going to Washington and so on seems increasingly mad because he just seems to be like fitting into the team really well and playing very well. I don't know what much more we would want. He would probably want to play, but maybe with us, I don't know if us throwing into a 4-3-3 shape maybe gives him more of a chance of getting in the team. But then also René Maric after the game was not being drawn. He was adamant that playing 4-3-3 we shouldn't read anything into it. It's like we did that because it would suit Sociedad. But then he kept going on about it, which made me think there was more to it than that.
Well, the thing is, the MLS season, I've just looked at the dates, doesn't start till February 25th. So you wonder if they're maybe keeping him on at Leeds for a bit, use him in January, and then we open up the pathway for somebody.
Lewis Bate.
Maybe so. Maybe so. He's played increasingly more minutes at Oxford, isn't he, as Bate?
Yeah, he seems to be doing pretty well. Like a reverse Shackleton. But yeah, so that'll be an interesting factor on the Monaco game is whether Click has another storming night, whether because Brendan Aronson was playing pretty well. It's funny. I think Click would be the perfect Jesse Marsch player because we went into this 4-3-3 and it was Click who was mostly playing these great balls down the side of the Sociedad defenders that people like Brendan Aronson and Rodrigo were running onto. And it seems to work really well. And he was linking up and doing all that stuff great. And it's similar to when against Elche when we were the 3-2-1 thing. No, one. It's because it's one and then the other formation that we do.
4-2-3-1.
That's the one. Yes. And he was in the middle of the three for the last half hour or however long he was when he came on. And again, was playing really well. Him and JB seems to give us stuff that we hadn't had in the game up until then. And it's sort of, he seems perfectly suited to everything that Jesse Marsch wants to do. And I had that feeling about the Elche game that he'd almost come on and gone like, all right, you knobhead, I'm going to be the best player. I'm going to do an absolutely brilliant job of all the stuff you want, even though you don't want me, just to annoy you. Not to annoy you, but just to prove a point that I could do this in my sleep if I wanted to.
4D chess, though, from Jesse. That 4D chess, getting motivated like that.
Well, yeah, maybe if that's his make him miss a World Cup just so we can
be better for Leeds.
Make him hate me.
Win the X trophy.
Anyway, listen, I need to turn to Rob for some expertise on Monaco. Rob, you've been doing some in-depth research, haven't you, about Monaco? You can tell us what we're looking forward to on Wednesday.
What do you want to know? I've done a good 5 minutes reading on this.
Go on, what did Wikipedia say?
I can tell you they're sixth in League.
Right.
It's a weird league because PSG just dominate it. So they're 14 points off PSG, who are top of the league, and they're 14 points off relegation. So they're very much average, I would say. There's a few Leeds links in there. They've got Mo Kamara in midfield, who we were linked with over the summer.
Yep.
And Minamino, who we were linked with in January, is also playing there. And this guy we've never actually been linked with, but they've got a left back called Cao Henrique, who I signed on Football Manager for Leeds a couple of years ago.
Any good?
He was all right. Like a typical Leeds left back, he wasn't as good as I hoped.
Right.
But he did the job for a little while. And yeah, their manager, Philippe Clement, they hired him in January from Club Bruges, where he is credited with being the man who got the best out of Charles de Ketelaere.
Right.
So a little
and Noah Lang, no less. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, he was hired when Monaco was sixth in Liga, and the club deemed that not good enough and sacked their manager, and it was kind of described as quite a erratic decision. And Philippe Clement took them to third, and now he has them sixth in January, which
Right.
is kind of where he took them over from. So maybe not the best.
How's the kit looking these days?
Do you know, it's just a classic Monaco
Is
kit.
it classic?
Yeah.
What, red and white? Have they gone for that? Sticky with
The
that?
diagonal.
Yeah, the diagonal.
That's okay. That's reassuring. I wonder.
I think I might have just made that up.
Do we know if they'll be wearing the home or the away? What's the away kit like?
Let's find out.
I physically can't operate my laptop.
Well, according to those little piddly sketches that you get on Wikipedia, when you look at a football club and it shows you the kits, they have an all-black away kit. It looks like Kappa make their kits as well, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, the traditional. For some reason, I associate them with Kappa quite often.
Yeah, so they've gone for it's a predominantly white home kit with obviously a red slash down across the chest, which sounds more violent than perhaps I intended it to. All black away kit and then all lilac third kit. I mean, and only an idiot would do that.
Isn't that our away and third reversed?
Maybe.
What colour's our...
that mad yellow away kit.
Oh, of course, it's 2022, isn't it? Lilac kit was last season?
Last year.
Yeah. Yes. So I presume they'll be in all black, which is what Sociedad were wearing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because they play mostly white at home as well.
They had quite a
bit of blue.
Yeah, it was quite nice. It looked like it would have been an option for us. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, because they can't really wear the red and white one at our place.
No, when we're getting to the really important issues here, I feel like what kit are Monaco going to wear?
Well, it is important because Monaco are one of those teams like Ajax who have a very distinctive look. And so you want to make sure that that's being respected.
Would you accept Monaco playing in their home kit and us putting on the disco yellow?
Yes.
Right. With socks on our hands?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Is that disco yellow there on the old socks, by the way? Just checking. The same as the away kit-ish.
It's pretty bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've put the press here button on the wrong one. The press here sticker. So when I press it, nothing happens. Meslier was there on Wednesday, by the way. That's something that I've not seen anybody else pick up on. So that could almost be classified as #insight because he's obviously his glands are all fevered. But at full time, there was somebody, the cameras, I was watching on the little TV, and there was somebody walking around and snood up to the nose, hat and hood down to the eyes.
Like a ninja.
But unmistakably Meslier. So he's obviously well enough to be striding around the pitch on a cold night at full time. But Robles did fine, didn't really have anything to do. One mad clearance that then... I thought Liam Cooper played well as well. Robles booted the ball into the centre circle straight to Sociedad, and then on several occasions during the evening, Cooper did like good interceptions, clearing up people's mistakes.
There was the moment. I thought Robles played well actually, but there was the moment where he rolled the ball out to two players who weren't looking.
Yeah, that was good.
And the ball sort of went between them, and they were both very surprised to see it. Of like, oh God, what's this doing here?
And then Christopher Klaassen came on for the second half, and I don't think he had a thing to do, even though it was pretty much Sociedad had all the possession, but this couldn't seem to be.
I was thinking there were just no chances, were they, really?
No.
I watched the highlights back this morning, and I think other than the goals, there was like Sociedad heading a corner at the goalkeeper, and Matt Rocker like really weakly shooting with his right foot.
Yeah, he moved it from his left to his right, and it just didn't work. There was Silva had the one bit where he kind of tap danced in the penalty area, but that was the minute before he got subbed off. I think he was I might as well do something before I depart. Yeah, it was all a bit mundane, but I'm sure the Monaco match, everybody is going to be inspired by what they've seen in the World Cup final, and it will be equally raucous.
There's some classic Who Scored insight here who say one of Monaco's strengths is attacking down the wings, which is worrying. But then it says underneath that Monaco's style of play is attack through the middle. So they're really going to keep us on our toes, I think, in that sense.
Attacking everywhere.
Yeah.
Bloody hellfire. Well, that'll be exciting, won't it? Right, well, we'll see how that all pans out on Wednesday. Should we maybe do one more before Christmas after that? We'll have a little chat.
Well, we'll have to go in and analyse the Monaco fixture after it's been played with similar rigour to how we've just gone through the Real Sociedad encounter.
Socks on our hands again?
We could.
Let's
get some more.
Yep. Oh, we could just bring back those ones again. Make them the studio socks.
Do you want to wear them next time?
I was going to say, do you ever actually want to intend to wear them on your feet?
No.
My hands are cleaner than his feet, I guarantee it.
Give over. Let's wrap it up there then, unless you've got anything else to add. Looking forward to the transfer window opening in
No,
another
absolutely
couple of weeks.
not.
No, me neither. We'll speak to you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.